now on Daf Yud Beis, Yudom Beis, Hechidom. What exactly is the case of Marbe Bechavila, where we say the last guy is Chayev Belav Lo Oza, if the Aish would not have spread around, it was not dangerous, without his extra Chavila of Eitzim Pshit of Solis Chayev, he was machshir the entire Nezek. Elad Belav Ozla is Micah Ovid. Ella, what are we going to say? That even without it, the Aish would have spread. So therefore, he didn't add anything to the Nezek. All right, he added a Chavila, but the Nezek would have taken place even without his additional Chavila. So therefore, he should be Potur. So the Gemara says that Marba b'Chavila, in a case where the Aish as is would have burnt the Gadish, then Micah Ovid. He didn't do anything. So the Gemara rejects this possibility. Another kash. Maskif Lorav Papa Va'ika Desanya. What about the case in the Bryce Chamisha Yoshal Safsalecha Velo Shivru Bo'echad V'Yoshav V'Shavro Ha'achron Chaya. So there were 5 people sitting on a bench, and the bench was still holding up. Now it's a 6th person comes along, and he sits down on the bench, and all of a sudden it breaks. And the Bryce established the Achron Chayav. Yomra Papa can go Papa Barabba. Somebody who's a heavyweight champion, like Rav Papa Bar Abba. And now we're going to say that the Achron is Chayav. He's the Mikta, Echshati is Miktas Nizko. Hechi Dami Lemed V'Laviu Lo Itbar. If not for his extra weight, it wouldn't have broken. It's fine. The Safsol can tolerate all 5 people who are sitting on the Safsol. And therefore, when he, the Balbosa, sits down as the 6th guy, it breaks. It's because of him. Is Pshita, certainly Chayev. Elad V'Laviu Nami Itbar. It would have broken even had he not come along. So, Frek the Gemara, Maika Ovid. And the Gemara is going to answer that he sped up the process of breaking the Safsol. Sof Masli Seichem B'Tarza, Lo Tzricha D'V'Lav Iyu, Havi Mitbar B'Treishoy, V'Hashta Itbar B'Chadosho. Okay, so he sped up the process of the Shviras HaSafsol by 1 hour. Therefore, he has to pay for the entire Nezek? No. The Gemara says, the Amri Lei, the 5 guys say to the Achron, Ilav At, Havias Vina Tvei Purta V'Kaimen. In other words, we knew exactly when we get to the danger zone. And therefore, if not for you, we would have gotten up well in time, before the time that it would break, and the Safsol would not have busted. You busted it when you sat down. So the Gemara asks, if not for the fact that you sat on the Safsol, then it wouldn't have broken as a result of my sitting on the Safsol. Is lo tzricha de bahadi de samech bei tovar. When he stood up and he leaned on them, that's the key point here in this sugya, that broke the safsol. So again, you have people sitting on the safsol, and now somebody comes along and leans on them. In other words, nothing would have happened if not for this last guy who leans on them and pushes them onto the sapsol. And their weight brings down the sapsol. No. Mao the Tainen Kocho Lav Ki Gufo Domi. Kamash Malon the Kocho Ki Gufo Domi. Right, that even though he's not physically directly breaking the sapsol, but nevertheless, the weight of his goof as it pushes down on the sapsol, that's what is responsible for breaking the sapsol. And kol hechi the gufa tova, kolcho nami tova. In any case where his goof broke the sapsol, he's chayav, and kolcho nami tovar, and he's chayav as well. Expecting more of a sulekod, you have no other cases of mixas. Nezek va iko the sanyo iko asor b'nei odom b'yeser maklos. Bein b'vas achas, bein b'zecher zeh, kulam p'turim. So now we're talking about gram ritzicha, and you have 10 people, each one smites a person until he dies. Now, there are two possibilities here. One possibility is that they all hit him simultaneously. If that be true, then I don't know who's chayef, who's the rotzeh. However, the other possibility is that the 9 people hit him b'zecher zeh, and then the 10th person hit him and he died. So on the one hand, we would certainly assume that the 10th person dealt him the murder blow. But on the other hand, maybe he wouldn't have died if not for the first 9. Okay, so now we're up to Visu lekova iko desanya iko asar b'nei odom ki eser b'yeser maklos bein b'vasachas bein b'chazekul umeis plupturim. So according to Tanakama, in the case of b'vasachas, we don't know who killed him, and in the case of v'zecher zeh, each one is called mekarev misasa. In other words, it's all contributing to the final death of the victim. And therefore, we cannot say that anyone is chayiv misa. And even though the last one certainly was makarev misaso, but that's considered like hikos miktas hanefesh, but not kol hanefesh. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Omer, bo'azacher zachron chayiv neshekira misisaso. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira never accepted the principle of Rebbe of maker miktas nefesh, v'kirev misaso. Is patur. No, says Rabbi Yehuda, he is the one who caused the death of the victim, and therefore he's chayav misa. So here's a beautiful case of harigas miktas nefesh, and he chayav misa as if he killed him kol nefesh. So why wasn't this mentioned in the brayso of miktas nizko? The Gemara answers k'tola lo kamayri. Number one, the Bryce is not dealing with Hechsher Misa. Number two, alternatively, the Bryce doesn't want to get into a plugta. And maybe it means the Bryce doesn't want to go according to Das Yochid. In fact, the Gemara, V'lov HaKamina and V'lov Kerebi. In the case of Chofer Bar Tishu Ba'acher V'Shlim Al Asara, we said he's Machshir Miktas Niskon Yischayv, and that's against Rebbe, who holds that even the guy who dug the first 9 tvachim, if a shor was injured in the bar, he also participates in the Chiyuv Tashlumin. More answers to lo kerebi u'kerabbanon. Yeah, you're right. If there's a machlokus between Rebbe and Rabbanon that will paskin like Rabbanon, and we're not interested in the sheet of Rebbe, and Mukmina. But in the case of Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira v'lo k'Rabbanan lo mukmina. In other words, we don't paskin like Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, and therefore to say that this brisa is going according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, that's not something that's acceptable. We go on in the Mishnah. Chavti ben Izko lo katoni elo b'tashlume nizko. Right? Why does the Mishnah say Chavti b'tashlume nizko? It should have said Chavti ben nizko. And Tanina lahad Rabbanon. Tashlumi nezek melamed she'abayla metaplu b'nevela. Now we get into a big sugya whether bayla metaplu b'nevela or ain't bayla metaplu b'nevela. And now Gemara is going to assume that the Mishnah, with the diuk that we made in the Mishnah, is reflecting the shita that bayla metaplu b'nevela. And that was intimated by Tashlume Nezek. Tashlume Nezek means la hashlam of the Nezek. So what happens? If my shor attacks your shor and kills your shor was worth 500 alive. As a dead shor, it's worth 100. The carcass has skins, hides, it has flesh. Obviously, you can't feed it to a Jew, but you can sell to a guy. So there are two ways of understanding Nezikin. One is to say that you have to pay for the value of the shor, the entire value of the shor in the market. And the other opinion is no. You only damaged 400. The carcass is worth 100. Pay the 400. Let the nizak haul the carcass from the bottom of the bar and sell it on the market as dog's food. I don't know, whatever you sell it for. And now what we're learning is from a diuk in the Mishnah, Tashlume Nezikin, is that the Bailam Metapla bin Avela. So the Avela was worth 100, and the Baal Hashar Mazik is going to have to pay 400. That's Hashlamas HaNezek. Minani Mili, Omer Rabbi Ami, Omer Kra, Maket Nefesh Be'ema Yishalmena, Al Tikre Yishalmena, El Yashli Mena. Rav Kan Omer Yehocha, Im Torof Toraf Yivzeu Eid Atreifa Lo Yishal. So we dash in the pasuk of Im Torof Yitaref Yivi Ehu, which means that if the animal became a treifa as a result of the pshia of the shomer, then you have to pay for the animal. But ad treifa, what does it mean, ad treifa? Instead of reading it aid, we're going to read it ad treifa, until the damim of the nevela yishalim. But treifa atzma, meaning the nevela itself, lo yishalim. So the nizak has to haul the animal from the bottom of the bar, or pick up its pieces from the ground after the shor attacked it, and sell the nevela that's his head. Chizkiya has another source for the din of Bailam and Tapla. The Gemara later on is going to require each of the three sources. The Nizak owns the carcass. It's impossible to say it that way. Why? My lokachoya, Omer Abaye Isal Kedaita Nevela de Mazik Havya, that the Nevela belongs to the Mazik. He'll pay the Nizak the full 500, and then the Mazik has to deal with the Nevela. The Torah should have said, Shalem Yishalem Shor Tachashor V'Lishtog. Why did the pasuk have to add v'amesia lo? It's pashut that if the mazik is paying the nizak the entire value of a live shor in the market, which is 500, for sure he gets the mazik gets to keep the nevela. So why did the pasuk feel it necessary to teach us v'amesia lo? Shma minol nizak. By process of elimination, we have to say that the chiddush of the Torah was that the mess, meaning the carcass, belongs to the nizak. So now we have three psukim to teach us the bailam and taflim vela. We have adam shehizik behema, we have a shomer sacha, we have shor shehizik shor utzrich. We need all three. If we only had the case of adam shehizik behema b'yadayim, I would have said that only in that case the Torah was makil on the mazik and said he doesn't have to be metapel ben avela. Mishum delo shchicha, adam mazik behema is very rare. People don't go around killing animals, and it's matzui. I'm sorry, and since it's lo shchiach, therefore the Torah did not impose an extra burden on the mazik that he should have to be toreach and be metapel ben available. Treifa the shchicha, in other words, it's very common for an animal to attack another animal, and the shomer has to protect and prevent something from that happening. Is emolo? I would say that we should be machmer on him, and he should be metapel ben avela tzricha. Oh, so now we have 2 out of 3. What's with the 30 yashmin and treifa? Why do we need another limit from treifa mishum de memela? Right, the zev pounced upon the animal and ripped it to shreds. Avol makabehema to be a daim, where the man directly hits the animal and mazik the animal. Emelo. Maybe the Torah is not going to be makel for him, and he has to be metapel nevel. So the kula here in the Havamina was only in the case of treifa. That is because lo shchich. V'yashmin and hanitar, the Torah had written both of these psukim of adam shizik behema and a shomer. Is ha in the case of adam shizik behema, the Torah is making mishum lo shchich, and ha in the case of a shomer, the Torah was making mishum de memela. There was no hezek b'yadayim avol amesia lo, which was formulated in the context of shor shenagach shor de shchicha ubiyadayim emalo. It's very shchiach that a shor would be nogech another shor. And the shor does a ma'aseh hezek with kavana. Is therefore, I would say, let's not be makel on him, and the mazik would have to be metapel ben avela. Therefore, I need the pasuk to tell me that even in this case, it's the nizak who's metapel ben avela. V'iyashmina v'amesia lo. And in the parsha of Shor Shenogach Shor, the Torah says v'amesia lo. I would have thought that the Torah is makel on the mazik, mishum de mamonaka mazik. It wasn't adam mazik but gufo, but rather it was shor, which is moment mazik. Avol hach, in our case of adam mazik, the gufa mazik. So again, if a man is mazik or a shomer is posha and mazik, it's called gufa with his own body. He was mazik the behema, and a shor who was poshea. That's also like in this case gufo, because with his goof he should have been shomer the shor that was deposited in his surveillance. His aim, although I would say that we cannot be makil, but rather he has to be metapel and veil tzricha. Therefore, I need the psukim of adam mazik and shomer to teach me that even in these cases, the nizak is metapel ben avela. Amalei Rav Kahana l'Rav Elami Taima. The reason why the Baalma metapel ben avela is only b'shum the kosrach mana. The Torah says Amesi Allah. Holaf hachi. If we wouldn't have had that pasuk, have I mean I would have thought nevela. Nevela de masik havi. Which means that the mazik is chayav to pay the full 500, and the nevela belongs to him. The Gemara says, I don't understand the logic of that. Basically, the hezek was 400. He could take the carcass and give it as payment. Now, what difference does it make whether you charge him, you bill him 500, and then he takes the nevela and he gives it back to the nizak as yashiv l'rabo shavik kesef kesef, or you make him l'chatchila to pay 400 and let the bailam mitapel in nevela. But the answer is who has to haul it up from the bottom of the bar? So he has a bunch of carcasses, in his freezer. His Yoevle can use that as payment to the Nizak under the law of Yoshiv, no worse than Subin. Diamar Mar Yoshiv. Oh, here it is. Yoshiv l'Ravos Kod Kesef Afilu Subin. Not bad. Okay, I'll give myself a pat on the back. Okay. Is the Demi boy? You have to teach me that the Nevela belongs to the Nizak. Yes, you have to teach me that the Nevela belongs to the Nizak because it's called Pchas Nevela. And that's the first answer we're going to give, is that the Nevela goes down very rapidly, declines in its value. It gets fashtunket, it gets disintegrates, or whatever the word is. And that's called sirachon in Hebrew. So who has to suffer the loss of the sirachon between the time that the animal died as a result of the gicha and the time that the animal was sold on the market? So we need a pasuk of bailam mitapel ben avela for a case of pchas nevela. Frek the Gemara lema pchas nevela tanoi. We say that the issue of pchas nevela is a machlokes tanoim. This Sanya we learned in the Brisa im tarof yitaref yavieu eid, and the Chachamim darshan here on the top of Daf Yudal yavi eidim shenitra fabiones upatur Hashem Sacher is patur v'onse abishalom yavi iduda or aduda, which is the nevela lebezdin, and now they're going to evaluate how much the nevela is worth. My lava hakam ifli de mar abishol holds. So chas nevela de nizak havi umar sover de mazik havi. Okay, then, so this is where we'll stop on the top of Daf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph, and that's for Monday. Okay, then. Okay, thank you so much.